Hello, this is Tom Gear with View Micrometrology. Today we are going to be talking about VMS and its UI. So the user interface we have here is a fairly standard. We have our menu bar with various items underneath each, which I can talk about for a second. If you want to get rid of it, you have to just select the menu bar item. We have the ribbon, which is loaded with features, icons that enable defining things and whatnot. And we have windows. All of these windows are completely customizable. You can change their size and location. Wherever you want it to go, you can make it go there. Okay, so I'm just going to discuss a few things about this. I'm going to go through it kind of one by one. Keep it simple. This align menu bar option is to initiate a part alignment. VMS is very capable in aligning to various features within features within features on parts. And so you can have new coordinate systems to customize your program and reliably get to where you want to go without um, losing any accuracy. The create feature option allows you to select a feature to create or construct. As you can see, we have point, line, line width, arc, circle, ellipse, plane, slot, tab, angle, distance, histogram, blob analysis, define AOI, add, remove point data, or acquire an image. So a lot of these are kind of redundant in this create feature window. I don't typically use this very often because most of that is already present in the ribbon. Only one isn't, and that's the add remove point data. And that's for advanced stuff, so I won't get into that. The program tab is going to be allowing you to do things that are also present on that ribbon, like declaring a variable, defining a procedure, assigning variables, setting light values, making a comment in your program. And these two are more advanced options, step and repeat stuff for when you're programming logistical functions. And then this statistics tab lets you clear stats and print stats. So when you run your program, you can actually gather statistics on the program that you ran. And if you run it 10 times, it'll give you the mean, the min, max, and the range, and a sigma value. So we'll go into edit. Edit is just very redundant. I'm not really sure this is necessary, but we have it. VMS is compatible with Control X, Control C, and Control V for cut, copy, and paste, respectively. So if you like to use your mouse for the clipboard, this is an option, but also right click is an option. So right click is quicker than going up to this menu bar. But I typically just will do hotkeys because that's way faster. If you're not a hotkey user, uh, shortcuts become one because it'll be way faster. Anyway, tolerance. These are various tolerance objects. You can establish a tolerance and use it throughout your program and call that tolerance with any of the features that you create later in the program. So this is very useful if you're working with a GD&T specific thing. I don't use it all that much, but it can be highly useful. The windows, these are just radio buttons that toggle the windows that you see on the layout. So right now, everything that's checked is visible. Uh, If I get away from this, I can see that the video window is here, measurement steps, object names, stage and lights, results window, and this is your feature window. A couple of them aren't present because we don't have a 3D image up. And the DRO, we can toggle it by clicking Control Shift D, or we can double click this miniature DRO here. If you double click it, it will open up. You can change the size of it if you're really concerned about watching it. Um, all of these windows I will cover in later videos. The Arrange All and Save View buttons, these are very useful. So let's say somebody, you have a layout that you really like, and this is the layout that I like and a lot of people at View tend to enjoy using. And you can save your layout. So if somebody moves things, that kind of thing, if somebody moves it, you can go back to your saved layout by clicking Arrange All. And um, if you want to move everything and have a new layout, you can go into Windows and then Save View, and that will be your new default layout. It will open up in that layout. Okay, so Setup has some options here. You can toggle the stage and lights window here. You can set a Z limit for safety on your machine. If you don't want it to go down past a certain Z value, you can set your Z limit. These are system options and settings. So if you want to change any of this stuff, it's fairly complicated in here, lots of radio buttons. This is a good place to change your units. So if you're in millimeters and you want to be in inches, just select inches, and then all of the measurements taken will be done in inches. I'm going to keep it in millimeters though. System, don't bother with that. That's more advanced stuff. You can't even access it anyway. Let's see. Results control. This is useful when you're wanting to output results from your program into Excel or text file or some other file that is custom. The preferences, you can go into here and change your system units or your velocity and acceleration of your stage. I just leave that default typically. User options, this is a good window to get familiar with. You can set the slow joystick speed, you can change the precision of your DRO, you can set the limits for your PRL, which is your programmable ring light. You can change the length of time your finders will display. Autofocus diagnostics, you can enable that. You can time out your lights. And then there's a whole bunch of toggles here for various things that you'd like to have as a default. Like for example, stage 0 on startup, that will make sure that the system zeroes itself when it starts up. In a situation where you're not too worried about the stage moving when you turn on the machine, that's a good toggle to have because you don't have to actually click the 0 stage button up here in the stage and lights window. And then there's a lot of different options here to enable or disable. You can change the colors of your finders and the layout colors, and then in this tab you'll have lens calibration and laser probes, which I may cover later on. And then in this tab right here, the menus, we have restricted, standard, and advanced. I usually have it in advanced because I want all of these things, and I'm an advanced user of VMS, so I want it to be in advanced. Most people who are actually programming in VMS will have it in advanced. You can change it to restricted if you have an operator. Just only these are the only options you have. Or you can change it to standard, which is a fairly expansive functionality. However, you don't have more advanced functions like defining variables and doing if and while loops and whatnot in a programmatic sense. So there's a lot of different ways to get to the same thing in VMS. So just find the easiest way for you, and and make that the way you do it. The ribbon here, you can create a new program, open a program, save, accept a finder, stop the program if it's running, go to the very first step of the program. These look like rewind and fast forward, but they're not. This is go to the first step, which is kind of a rewind. And then this is jump to the selected step. So whenever you're highlighting things and going into the program in your measurement steps, you can select a step. Hitting this will actually go to that step, and then you can run from that step. Play, just it runs the program. Run single step, runs a single step in your program. So not the whole thing, just a single step, and it'll stop after the one step. Ask before moving stage, that this will pop up and ask you, are you sure you want to move? So, that's something that you can toggle on or off. This will display your lights and stage box, which is up here. I've already shown you several ways to get to it. And these are features to create, which I showed you in the create feature section, because, why not have multiple ways to get to the same thing? And then so on and so forth. In the ribbon, there's a lot of tools here. And just a few more things with the UI, and then we'll close this video. This is telling you what alignment you're using for the system, and this is we're using the stage alignment. So your machine coordinate system is using the stage to define these points. So I'm at 55 to the right and 56 back and 6 up from the origin, which is at the glass on the stage in the front left location. So the origin, if this is the stage, the yellow rectangle here, we're looking down on it. This is our axis, and our origin is right here. The Spark 1X, that will show you what your lens is. So if you change to a 5X view lens, it'll be view 5X or whatever you name your lens. These are the units that we are currently running in. This says we're ready to go. This is which line is highlighted. And since we don't have any lines, we're at line 0, program main. This is going to show you whether your license is up to date or if it's expired or if it's going to expire soon. This changes color as you get closer to your expiration date. And then last but certainly not least, for the basic VMS layout is the help here. So a lot of times VMS users will get stuck and they don't know what to do or what is what. So either press F1 or click the index here and it will show you VMS help. And VMS help is just a little UI that will help you figure out what some things do. Like, for example, I searched error codes lately and I entered it. And then let's see, error categories. There. You can read about errors and what error categories there are. You can get real deep. The user manual for VMS is hundreds of pages. So this is a very useful way to get through the user manual without actually flipping through pages. And then about VMS is just, what version are you running? And right now I'm running 10.0.58. And then here, functions and structure components. This is something that you'll get into as an advanced user. It will show up here and all of these functions. They have function categories and then functions to use in your program. Lots of different things. That's quite extensive options here. Structure components, this is for programming and understanding programming and what objects to call out when you need them. So for example, if I wanted to call up a point and I want the x value of that point, I can call out the point.x and it will give me a value. Anyway, I'll get more into that later in later videos. So anyway, that is VMS, the basic UI, and we'll get into the details later on. Thanks.